Good evening, I'm Carol McNeil, and this is The National. More than 1 million Texans ordered to flee the path of Hurricane Harvey.
We're out of generators, we're out of water, and we're out of sand.
Officials warn of flash floods and lost alligators. BC wildfires get uncomfortably close to Kelowna.
I ran literally into a wall of flame right across the trail.
The hype grows around the loudmouth fighters slugging it out for big money.
I would like to see Mayweather take out McGregor just to kind of put him in his place.
Plus, Canadian soldiers help send a message to Russia. Dangerous, life-threatening, catastrophic. Officials are not mincing words when it comes to Hurricane Harvey. It is now a Category 4, a spiraling funnel of furious winds and raging rains whipping at more than 200 kilometers an hour, beating down on Texas, sending officials and residents scrambling. A swath of the Texas coast is under mandatory evacuation. Voluntary evacuations reach even further. Before Harvey hits, people will either escape, leaving behind temporary ghost towns, or risk their lives. Kim Brunhuber has the story from San Antonio tonight.
Thank you for calling Pinot Home Depot. We're out of generators, we're out of water, and we're out of sand.
Along the Texas coast, big, wet storms are nothing new, but this one scares even those who have lived their whole lives near the spray of the sea, the worst storm Texas has seen in almost 50 years.
The more I watch of it, I'm just not going to take that chance.
Hurricane Harvey is expected to bring tree-snapping 200-kilometer-an-hour plus winds and storm surge as tall as a giraffe.
Texas is about to have a very significant disaster.
A slow-moving disaster. The storm is expected to move inland and just hang out there for up to 5 days, dumping as much as 90 centimeters of rain. And so, residents have either stocked up, boarded up, or hit the road. Some are being bused to shelters like this one in San Antonio, a city which itself may be hit by Harvey tomorrow. Authorities in Texas say some areas may be uninhabitable for days or weeks. However, in Corpus Christi, one of the first cities in the hurricane's path, no mandatory evacuation.
I've gone through a lot of hurricanes. I've lived here most of my life, and I'd rather take care of my home and my animals and be safe here.
Others say they'd leave if they could.
Financially, we don't have the money to go ahead and take that ride out of town.
For many Texans, the amount of rain forecast sparks memories of 2001's Tropical Storm Allison, a storm that hovered over Texas for days and killed more than 20 people.
We are going to be dealing with immense, really record-setting flooding in multiple regions across the state of Texas.
Today, Abbott asked President Trump to declare it a major disaster even before the hurricane hit, a lesson learned from Katrina. For Trump, this will be his first natural disaster as president.
Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job.
He was warned to avoid making the mistake George W. Bush did in his response to Katrina. Federal support was too little and too late.
Thank you very much.
Trump left to spend the weekend at Camp David, but the White House says he's monitoring the situation.
This is right up President Trump's alley. Not only has he showed leadership here, but his entire focus has been on making America great again.
To those who plan to ride it out, a stern warning from the Red Cross.
The storm could change, and as they've said, they're not going to come rescue you once it gets bad.
Officials say for many who thought about leaving but haven't, now it may be too late. Kim Brunhuber, CBC News, San Antonio, Texas.
And as Kim mentioned, it's not just the power of these winds that's alarming, it's the amount of rain expected as well. Let's turn to CBC meteorologist Jay Scotland. Jay, they are expecting as much as 90 centimeters of rain in some places. What kind of impact will that have for people in Texas?
This will be a devastating impact, Carol. Unfortunately, we're talking about rainfall like that, plus the storm surge, coastal and inland flooding, the big concern as the storm moving on shore as a Category 4. This is a major hurricane, so not just winds, but the heavy rain. And I think what really sums it up best is this graphic here. This comes courtesy of NOAA, weather agency in charge of tracking these storms, part of the National Hurricane Center in the United States. And as you can see, this is their legend off to the left of this screen here. That color purple is over 20 inches of rain. So when we convert that to millimeters, 500 plus millimeters of rain, and locally, we could be seeing amounts even double that number for parts of the Texas coast.
Jay, before you go, as a forecaster, you've seen more than your share of storms. What stands out for you about this one?
Well, first of all, the length of time between, when the last major hurricane struck the United States, it's been quite some time. That was Wilma back in October of 2005. And just a few months before that, in August of 2005, of course, Hurricane Katrina. So it's been 12 years now since a major hurricane has made landfall in the United States. But I think really what stands out the most is the track, the slow meandering track of this storm. Now, from earlier this evening, this is the hurricane track from the National Hurricane Center. You can see making landfall, Cat 4, then very slowly meandering, even looping back on itself over southern Texas. You can see into the middle of next week. Some forecast models, even towards the end of next week, still have at least the remnants of this storm producing heavy rain over southern Texas, and this is going to be devastating in terms of flooding. So here are the impacts. Heavy rain, 350 to upwards of 700 millimeters. Locally, Carol, amounts could top 1,000 millimeters. That's a year's worth of rain for parts of our country falling in just a few days into that part of Texas. Destructive winds, 200 plus kilometers per hour, sustained. That's as strong as an EF2 tornado, not violently spinning, but still causing a lot of damage. Storm surge, 2 to 3.5 meters. That's over 12 feet in height for storm surge. Coastal inland flooding, power outages, also pounding surf and riptides. Hopefully, folks, we're heeding those warnings and getting out of Texas with the evacuation.
CBC meteorologist Jay Scotland. All right, well, beyond the high winds, surging water and floods, authorities are warning Texans of another danger from Hurricane Harvey: alligators. Police in one county reminded residents that as the waters rise, gators head to higher ground and can end up where people live. Their advice: leave them alone until the waters recede. And one final note on Hurricane Harvey tonight. The acting mayor of Rockport on the Texas coast had a grim message for those who choose to refuse the evacuation order. He said those who insist on staying or who can't leave should write their name and social security number on their arm in a Sharpie pen. That way, their bodies can be easily identified. With much of the country focused on the hurricane, U.S. President Donald Trump issued a controversial pardon tonight. Former Arizona Sheriff Joe Arpaio, and prominent Trump supporter, is now cleared of a recent conviction in a racial profiling case. Arpaio is celebrated by some and reviled by others for sending his officers to target suspected immigrants for traffic stops. Earlier this week, Trump suggested he was convicted for doing his job. In British Columbia, the threat of fire hit fast for a community just east of Kelowna. So fast for some, they were face to face with flames. It's the latest wildfire to force people out of their homes in what's been a devastating season. Stephanie Mercier has our story.
There's some coffee and snacks inside to get sorted.
At this emergency services center, volunteers welcome families in for the morning. Some looking for provisions.
Just to get some dog food and some supplies, we had to leave in a hurry.
Others, information.
Right now we're back down at the evacuation center trying to find out what's going on, because we would either like to be able to get in to feed our horses or let them know that they're still there.
About 1,100 people were forced from their homes in the Joe Rich area, about 25 kilometers east of Kelowna. A fast-moving wildfire sparked up suddenly yesterday afternoon, growing quickly in the heat and winds to about 380 hectares. It caught people off guard.
I looked to my left, and there was the major fire, the major plume. It was about 200, 300 meters away, and it was moving.
Cynthia Rowe was trail running in the hills around the highway when the fire broke out. She quickly found herself surrounded.
About 200 feet down the trail, I ran literally into a wall of flame right across the trail and coming towards me up the trail. So at that point, I panicked and all the thoughts started going through my head. I realized I was in real danger.
She ended up bushwhacking her way back to the highway. Overnight, temperatures dropped and so did the winds. The fire didn't grow, and it calmed down a little. Some comfort for those worried about what they left behind.
We're just tired. It's been a long night. It was hard to sleep.
There are still more than 130 significant fires burning in BC. This latest one just shows the province's worst wildfire season ever isn't over yet. Stephanie Mercier, CBC News, Vancouver.
Coming up, Russia takes issue with European war games that include Canadians.
Very provocative actions and very dangerous ones.
Plus, gruesome crimes take a toll on jury members forced to review them.
Do I regret that I'm sick because of it? Yes. Yes.
Canada's latest rising star in tennis, 18-year-old Denis Shapovalov, is qualified for the U.S. Open. He beat the Czech Republic's Jan Šotral in 3 sets. Shapovalov made a name for himself by beating Rafael Nadal in the Rogers Cup earlier this month. This will be his first U.S. Open appearance. After months of media frenzy, trash talk, and a circus-like promotional tour, it all comes down to tomorrow for 2 fighters from very different worlds. Undefeated boxer Floyd Mayweather versus mixed martial arts fighter Conor McGregor. So will the sports mashup live up to all the hype? Carolyn Dunn sets the stage for us tonight.
In one corner, Floyd Mayweather, undefeated in 49 career boxing matches, among the best in history. Though for some, his criminal record for domestic violence tarnishes his boxing record. And in the other corner, Conor McGregor, the biggest star of the UFC, a mixed martial arts icon who's stepping into the ring for his very first professional boxing match. The flamboyant, tattooed Irishman is the underdog and is hoping to defy all odds. But McGregor's talk may be faster than his hands. Just don't tell him that.
They've been questioning me and doubting me since the very beginning. So this is what I do. I ride in here and overtake empires.
That kind of arrogance is exactly why Calgary bartender Samantha Neufeld-Worley is hoping to watch McGregor go down. She's one of a group of family and friends who have coveted ringside seats at the MGM Grand in Vegas Saturday night.
I would like to see Mayweather take out McGregor just to kind of put him in his place and take him off his high horse a little bit.
On an appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live, Mayweather was blunt about his opponent.
Do you genuinely dislike Conor McGregor?
Yes. I don't like him at all.
But he promised it won't be a one-round fight.
He's going to land shots. I'm going straight ahead.
Why are you doing that? To give him,
I want to
make it more even?
The fans.
You're giving him a handicap?
The fans deserve it.
Calgary boxing coach Michael Short notes even at 40, Mayweather is dangerous.
He deflects your punches, stays right in front of you, and he snaps your head so fast it feels like you got hit by a truck.
Still, he calls it a match made in heaven.
It's transcending both sports. It's going beyond boxing and MMA, and it's attracting non-fight fans. It's attracting just the casual onlooker that wants to see a spectacle.
Up to $50 million in the U.S. alone are expected to pay $100 to watch the match on pay-per-view. If he wins, Mayweather will be the first professional boxer in history to post a perfect 50-0 record. Carolyn Dunn, CBC News, Calgary.
And as Carolyn mentioned, the audience for Mayweather versus McGregor is expected to be massive. It may also become the most lucrative boxing match ever for the fighters. While there are confidentiality agreements, some estimates suggest the purse for this fight could be about $375 million. How does that compare to other big fights in boxing history? The infamous battle with Mike Tyson that cost Evander Holyfield part of his ear back in 1997, well, that was worth more than $80 million, or almost $125 million in today's dollars. And the rumble in the jungle between Muhammad Ali and George Foreman, it had a purse of about $12.5 million. Let's adjust that for inflation. That's about $62 million today. Straight ahead on The National, Canadians join in NATO war games at Russia's doorstep.
Earth Day has been organized from this office by young people using all the enthusiasm and techniques of publicity which were developed by the peace movement. They have been joined by many politicians, for no one opposes in principle a clean environment.
On Earth Day, we're going to be focusing the whole society's concerns upon the broad range of environmental issues that are coming up, to the whole series of ways that we are destroying the world that some of us really want to live in 30 years from now.
All we are saying is give us a chance.
They gathered in thousands here and tens of thousands there, but in our 136 countries, there were 200 million, the organizers said. But who could possibly count? In Europe, they bicycled. In Central America, they rallied. On Parliament Hill, there was a message from the man who wrote, "Never Cry Wolf."
With the help of the Wolf Pack, I want you to pick up that message and bounce it off this building behind me. Now, let's go!
There may have been snow in the forecast and a cold wind blowing, but the drums were hot in Ottawa, even if the crowd was smaller than expected.
No, there's a lot of issues at forcing this thing maybe to the back seat, but I don't know, I still think it's pretty strong.
In Montreal, there was a march through the city.
It's important to remember, people, we are losing our Earth now.
In Toronto, hundreds took part in an Earth Day march, walking from Queen's Park to Toronto City Hall. Here, too, organizers admit the fight to clean up the planet is not easy, but it must be done.
Although the environment is under great stress, we at least can show some hope.
Earth Day sucks. There, I said it. Earth Day sucks.
He's not alone. There's a growing group online. It's not the message. That, Norman says, is good, especially when it involves educating the young about the mess their parents have left the planet in. Now he sees corporations using Earth Day to sell stuff, and he doesn't pull punches.
Earth Day should be every day. This 1 day per year stuff is garbage.
All we are saying is give us a chance.
North Korea launched more missiles tonight, but the U.S. military says it was a total failure. 3 short-range projectiles were fired, but they either failed in flight or blew up immediately. None of them posed a threat to either North America or the U.S. territory of Guam, which North Korea had threatened earlier this month. The White House introduced sanctions today targeting what it calls the dictatorship of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro.
It's a strong message to Maduro. We are not going to tolerate the dictatorship he's trying to create.
Under the sanctions, U.S. entities can no longer deal in newly issued Venezuelan government debt or that of the state oil company. Maduro said the sanctions are designed to, quote, asphyxiate his country. In northern India today, at least 29 people are dead, hundreds injured. The cause? A court convicted this man of rape, a controversial leader of a spiritual sect that claims to have 50 million followers. Tens of thousands took to the streets in protest and clashed with police. In Yemen, an airstrike destroyed an apartment building, killing at least a dozen people, including 6 children. The Red Cross called the civilian loss of life outrageous. Amid Yemen's civil war, millions of civilians face hunger, and a cholera epidemic is spiraling out of control. Canadian troops have staged their first major exercises since the start of their Latvia mission. The goal? To show an aggressive Russia that NATO means business. Chris Brown is with Canadian forces near Riga, and as he reports, even without any big guns going off, the Russians are not happy.
He's going to engage in the lab if you guys come over here.
Canada's military is preparing for a war in Eastern Europe it hopes never happens.
They think there could be up to another 5 enemy companies just north of that are essentially massing and preparing for their follow-on attack.
This is a simulated battle on an army base north of Riga, Latvia.
Engaged and destroyed.
Canada has 450 soldiers in Latvia as part of a battle group meant to deter any Russian aggression against the 3 Baltic states, which are also NATO members. This is the first war game of their deployment. It's a scenario that has troops dug into trenches in defensive positions.
Does it feel real? Yeah, as real as it can, without a two-way range, so without rounds flying both ways, of course, yeah.
Nearby, battle group leaders respond to the mock attack.
With 29er Charlie.
The idea behind this so-called certification exercise is for senior NATO commanders to give the stamp of approval to Canada's mission here, saying it's ready for combat. And to no one's great surprise, the answer is expected to be yes.
Although this team has been together for a very short period of time, what they've achieved to date is impressive.
Maybe so, though we didn't see much simulated combat today. The military's own crew posted some slightly more dramatic video from yesterday, which the presumed invaders, the Russians, don't like.
Are they preparing to war?
Maria Zakharova is the chief spokesperson for Russia's foreign ministry.
There is no other possibilities to interpret what is going on in Baltic republics as a very provocative actions.
NATO sent its troops here after Russia's annexation of Crimea prompted fears that something like that could happen to Latvia. But Zakharova says the premise behind the mission is false.
You can convince people in anything, and that's what the Western propaganda is doing.
Of course, the Russians are masters at staging their own war games. As Canada's scenarios were going on in Latvia, this was happening at an army fair near Moscow. Lots of tanks and blasting and incredible firepower. In fact, some simulations have suggested if the Russians did launch a lightning strike, the NATO troops in Latvia wouldn't have a chance. Chris Brown, CBC News in Camp Adige, Latvia.
Today, we may be a little closer to understanding why so many North Atlantic whales have been found dead this year. A new federal study says ocean temperatures off Canada's east coast are on the rise, and that can have a profound impact on a hungry whale. The CBC's Paul Withers has the details from Halifax.
Every year, federal scientists measure ocean temperatures in Atlantic Canada. The results for 2016 show temperatures were up across most of the region. Deep water flowing into the Gulf of St. Lawrence was the warmest since record-keeping started there 100 years ago. The exception was off Newfoundland and Labrador, where sea temperatures were normal or just above. Waters were particularly warm off Nova Scotia.
Most of them were well above normal. Some were record highs. The average of the whole thing was the second highest record that we have in 47 years.
The warming water is impacting the food chain. The Department of Fisheries and Oceans says it coincides with a shift in where tiny zooplankton are found. They are eaten by the endangered North Atlantic right whale. More of the whales are moving into high-traffic shipping lanes in search of food.
And those zooplankton are now in the Gulf of St. Lawrence, and that's probably the reason why the whales are going to where they're going.
For the whales, it's been a deadly change. At least 13 have died off the coast of Canada and New England this year, some hit by ships or entangled in fishing gear.
They're not well protected. They're in the middle of a shipping lane. There's fishing going on in the summer, so there's these additional threats that DFO now has been dealing with in trying to keep the whales safe as much as we can.
Still, there is some mystery. Right whale sightings in the Gulf have increased in recent years without the catastrophic deaths seen this summer. Scientists estimate the entire population of North Atlantic right whales is about 500. Paul Withers, CBC News, Halifax.
And the rise in sea temperatures around the world is getting a lot of attention from scientists. John Abraham is a professor of thermal sciences in Minneapolis. I spoke to him earlier this evening. John, the scientist involved in this report says he's not yet ready to attribute these temperature changes to climate change. What's your response to that?
Well, my colleagues and I, who study climate change throughout the entire globe, are seeing temperatures rise everywhere. And whether we're in the Atlantic, the Pacific, the Indian Ocean, temperatures are rising. And so what we see globally is that these what we call local fluctuations are superimposed on a long-term trend. So I would say that people who study the global oceans are much more willing to say that this is related in part to human-caused climate change.
In this case, the scientist is saying that this is just a snapshot, that because ocean temperatures can vary over decades, that's why he's not ready to say it's climate change. What's your response to that?
Well, we do see local temperatures that vary over decades, over years, but we're also seeing a long-term heating of the global oceans. No matter where we're putting our sensors in, the temperatures are rising. So we've seen about 10 or 15 years of temperatures rising off the coast of Canada. We expect to see more.
How much do you trust the sensors, the equipment that's used to gauge those temperatures right now compared to in the past?
Well, these Canadian scientists are using the exact same sensors that we use to study the global oceans. They're using something called the Argo floats, which are these robotic sensors that drift up and down in the ocean waters and send their temperature information to satellites. And then that data is collected in data centers. We have a lot of confidence in those temperature sensors. In fact, our temperature measurements now are better than they've ever been. So the temperature measurements have gotten much better over the past few decades. And in fact, since 2005, they've been fantastic.
All right. John, thank you.
Thanks a lot. It's been a great pleasure.
The surge in the number of right whales dying is also now getting the attention from the U.S. government. Yesterday, its National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, launched an investigation. It's declared the deaths an unusual mortality event. That triggers a sweeping investigation, including environmental and habitat conditions. Officials with NOAA's fisheries will work with their counterparts in Canada. Ottawa has already ordered large vessels to slow down in the Gulf of St. Lawrence. Coming up on The National, how serving on a jury can leave mental scars.
I was standing there at the crime scene watching it happen over and over and over again.
There's a growing demand for help with courtroom trauma. Plus, for these Quebec kids, preschool playtime has moved to the forest. But first, a look at the day's business numbers. The TSX dropped 20 points. The dollar inched up to hit 80 cents U.S. That's the second time this summer. In New York, the Dow gained 30 points. The price of oil went up 44 cents a barrel.
I'll tell you a quick story about Obama. It was a big deal for us. It was, the first time that I'd had an interview with a U.S. president while in office. In fact, I think it was the first time CBC had ever had a one-on-one with a U.S. president. He'd just taken office. He'd only been there a month. So it was a big deal. We didn't get a lot of time with him. I think it was 12 minutes or something it ended up being. And they were in a real rush to move him along because he had to fly out to the western United States somewhere, so the helicopter was waiting on the pad outside. So they bring him in. It was in the map room of the White House, right on the main floor. He walks in, has his arm out. He says, "Peter, welcome to the White House. Great to have you here." I'm going, "Jeez, this is great." The guy obviously must watch us online every night. So he sits down, and we, do a little small talk while they're setting up the mics and everything, and that was all very nice. And then we get into the interview, and it was bang, bang, bang. There was all the things you'd expect: Afghanistan, the economy. There was stuff about the oil sands. There was a variety of different questions, and he showed a remarkable knowledge of Canada, and he'd obviously been properly briefed on some of these issues. Then suddenly, it was over. And he says, "Thanks very much." We shake hands. His people are on him like immediately, saying, "We've got to go, Mr. President." So off he went, out the door. And so I'm going, wow, I just interviewed the President of the United States, and after you turn to the crew to make sure they actually were recording when you were doing it, I looked at the producer who'd done a lot of the work to make this happen. Her name was Samira Hussein. She works for the BBC now, right, in New York. And I looked at Samira, who was sitting on the floor, just basically right between the president and I during the news here. We were just out of, during the interview, but just out of camera range, and I said, so, Samira, how did it go? What do you think? And Samira Hussein was like the gold medal winner at Concordia, or she's like a great young journalist. She looked at me and she went, he's so gorgeous. So I said, yeah, right, of course, but you know, did we get what we came here for? And she said, I don't know, I didn't hear a word he said. So as that's happening, there's suddenly this kind of noise at the door, at the entrance, and look up, and it's him again. It's the President of the United States. He's come back in, he's going, Peter, because, you know, he says, I've got somebody you have to meet. And I said, I'm thinking, the President of the United States, that's somebody I have to meet? This is like crazy. And he's tall, right? I'm 6 foot, he's like 6'2", and the guy beside him was about 6'5", big tall guy. He looks at him, and this is the answer to Paul's second question. He looks at him, he says, this is Marvin Nicholson. He's from Victoria. I'm going, he's gone out, you know, he's heading to the helicopter, he's met some other Canadian, he's brought him back in the White House.
Trials are longer. Exposure by jurors to acts of depravity may very well have a serious emotional effect on a juror.
It's a civic responsibility, but there are two little words that fill busy Canadians with trepidation, and that's jury duty. For most, it's a small, inconvenient price to pay to ensure that our justice system works. But for others, the effects can last a long time after arriving at that verdict. Earlier this season, Joanna Remiliotis explored the hidden toll of jury duty.
He can feel it coming. The heat on the back of his neck. The racing beat of his heart. The sudden urge to run. That's when Marc Ferrand starts counting.
I look around and I say, what are 5 things that I can see? I can see the Christmas lights, you can see the red umbrellas.
Counting those things is like finding anchors in a storm. Standing in a crowded place is a form of self-inflicted torture, and a form of therapy too. Ferrand is exposing himself to the ravaging fear that consumes his life, all in an effort to beat it.
I don't like being here. I don't know, I feel like it's some kind of primitive emotion, some kind of primitive response. Honestly, that's what it feels like, right? You're just fighting this thing that's saying, get out, go, leave.
Ferrand has PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and why he struggles with the demons in his mind is a story you don't often hear. You see, Ferrand isn't a former soldier or frontline emergency worker. He's a former juror, and now he's the one looking for justice.
Do I regret doing jury work? At the end of the day, no. Do I regret that I'm sick because of it? Yes. Yes.
Ferrand didn't know what to expect when he got the summons and ended up serving on a Toronto murder trial 2 years ago. The victim, 23-year-old Karina Petrach. The killer, her boyfriend, Farshad Badakhshan. The loop still lurks in the shadows of his mind, ready to pounce into focus. Autopsy photos of a young woman stabbed repeatedly, her throat slit, burns all over her body from being trapped in a room set on fire. Testimony of how she managed to crawl out, bleeding to death, gasping for help.
The pathway of her final moments up the stairs and the bloody marks on the walls, and there were some images in the bathroom which are really disturbing, bloody handprints and blood on the floor and blood in the kitchen where she laid for a period, and you might read about it in a crime novel, but it's not. It's totally different when it's real. This is a real person. This is a real victim.
So real and so disturbing that during the trial, Ferrand would wake up at night in a cold sweat. But he figured that was normal, that when the trial was over, it would all be over. He was wrong.
I would be talking to somebody and then I would look at their neck and see that image.
The flashbacks kept coming. Then the fear set in.
I slept like a guard dog at the foot of my daughter's bed. I would sleep as close to the door in her room as possible. And then I kept a knife underneath my pillow.
Terror became a constant, gnawing companion. Finally, months later, he reached out for help. The first place he called was the courthouse.
There was a sort of dull silence on the end of the phone. Oh, we're not quite sure about that. And then, humming and hawing about it. There wasn't really, it became clear there wasn't a body that dealt with jurors.
And that is the stark reality in most of the country. Jury duty is a civic duty, and every day ordinary people are required by law to immerse themselves in grisly trials and endure an onslaught of disturbing evidence. There is no way to prepare for it, no way to look away. And when it's over, the majority of jurors in Canada are simply thanked for their time and dismissed.
So how was your day today?
It's good. It's something that, everybody asked when I got home, so did they put you in touch with a counselor? Nope. People at work asked, so what's the support you get? Nothing. It was simply thank you, see you later.
Dan Kozine remembers feeling oddly deflated, thinking, is that it? Kozine spent weeks absorbing the facts of a horrific murder trial in Regina last year, one that had even veteran police officers testifying in tears. Foster parents Kevin and Tammy Goforth were convicted of abusing and neglecting 2 little girls in their care.
A lot of it stemmed around malnutrition and
they weren't feeding them?
That they weren't feeding them sufficiently or giving them enough fluids. Some of the things were, there was a lot of question around whether or not they were, locked in their room on their own, whether their diapers were changed regularly, whether they had even, sufficient blankets or things like that.
The evidence included photos of clothing soiled with feces and duct tape. The court heard it was used to restrain the older girl, who was 4 years old. She died of severe malnutrition. Her 2-year-old sister barely survived. She's the one who haunts Kozine the most.
You would think it would be, autopsy photos of a 4-year-old girl or her hospital photos before she passed away, or some of those things. But there was a close-up photo of the 2-year-old's face. And you could feel how painful it was for her. Wasn't a lot of injuries shown in that picture. It was just a close-up of her face, but sadness and being tired and overwhelmed and a 2-year-old and not understanding. And there's lots of pictures that are, you think of, but that one for me is the one that's present.
When it was over Kozine was determined to push the images out of his mind, determined to get back to his normal life. And then he saw the children.
Morning, boys.
Kozine is the principal at St. Jerome Elementary School in Regina.
Morning, guys. During that trial, these kids were too young to be in school. And I often thought about, even if they were a year too older, then maybe they would have been in school then, and maybe somebody would have noticed. Where did you wear mitts today?
I have some in my pocket.
Kozine and his wife don't have children. He calls his students his kids. But he found himself unusually withdrawn from them and distracted too. When he did focus, he was hypervigilant. He recalls the day a little girl came into the school office with a cut on her finger.
Well, the first reaction is, well, how did that happen? And you start to, you're looking at it and, well, maybe it's because of this. And I saw that in those pictures. And you start to really go to a place where that's not what it was. But it takes you there. Okay, have a good day, buddy.
There was a lot of withdrawal. He was sad, right? Angry, for sure. I saw lots of moments of anger, for sure.
At his wife Vanessa's urging, Kozine found a therapist and was diagnosed with PTSD.
It seems really archaic given today's society and the awareness around mental health. There seems to be a lack of recognition that this is the effect that it's going to have on these people when they leave that courtroom.
Support for jurors varies across the country. Saskatchewan doesn't have a policy in place, while Alberta offers free counseling automatically to those who need it. In some provinces, judges can order counseling for jurors, but those orders are rare.
Why do you think this wasn't a bigger issue before?
Because it didn't happen before, at least I wasn't aware, and I think most judges weren't aware of the dramatic impact it would have on juries.
Christopher Spire is a retired Ontario Superior Court judge. In nearly 30 years on the bench, Spire presided over dozens of murder trials, and over the years came to appreciate how jurors can often be traumatized.
Well, I want to put this in perspective. Right? Previously, in bygone days, in serious cases, the Crown would always tender photographs of perhaps the victim and to demonstrate the cause of death. But those were somewhat benign and they were somewhat limited, and they had to be relevant, of course, to a fact and issue. What's really changed today, in many cases, is trials are longer, exposure by jurors to acts of depravity may very well have a serious emotional effect on a juror. All people are very different. And on some, it would have very little impact. On others, it would have a dramatic impact.
In some cases, there is no question the evidence will have an impact.
The ordeal began in earnest today for jurors in the murder trial.
One of the first times a judge ordered counseling for jurors was after the Paul Bernardo murder trial in Toronto in 1995.
The sound of Leslie Mahaffey begging, Kristen French screaming, the videotapes, shown only to the jury.
The torture and rape videotapes of two teenage girls, recorded by Bernardo at his home with his wife at the time, Carla Homolka, were so searing, just as Patrick Lesage anticipated the jurors would need support. Lesage himself sought counseling after the trial.
Justice Lesage, who is a great, great judge, has said publicly the impact it's had on him, seeing the videos of such depraved conduct. And he sought counseling. So if it can happen to a judge with long experience, a person who prosecuted many murder cases, it can happen especially to a juror off the street, doesn't know what to expect.
But what does happen to those jurors off the street? There's no way of knowing how many people unravel and to what extent. Most simply disappear into the crowd.
The problem is this: a judge's function is finished after the verdict and after the sentence. So any emotional effects that happen, say, 2 weeks later, 2 days later, 2 months later. We never know about it, and we've exhausted our jurisdiction.
And to your point, you wouldn't know as a judge what happens after.
Never.
And if these people don't have anywhere to turn after they're dismissed and thanked for their time, it could be an invisible issue, right? Until somebody decides to say something.
Precisely.
When we come back, jurors are speaking out, demanding help.
I want the same level of support to be available to a juror in any province, in any territory in the country.
Muhammad Ali commanded a respectful silence and then applause as he entered the ring. The daily workouts were pure show business. First, an exhibition of speed and condition. And then, on the last day of training, he put on a surprise performance.
And who's the champ of Canada, too? Who's the heavyweight champ of Canada? Cavallo. How many Americans in here? All right. What other countries do we have in here? England? How many from England? Who?
Israel.
Israel? Yeah. Am I the champ in Israel? Yeah. I'm not the champ in Israel? All right. So name but one of you in here, you better be good. I don't want no smart stuff now. Can anybody just take my tail out of the ring? Would you ever settle for that? No, right? No. All right, that's all. You can go now. All of you who bought pictures, I'm going to put my name on it for you. Take time and autograph all your pictures. And because this will be worth about $10,000 in another 2 years. The people here in Canada, I've never been treated so nice in my life. I haven't had no people making wisecracks. Everybody's friendly. The children, the waitresses, the hotel managers, the policemen, everybody's as nice as they can be. And it's a lot different from where I come from.
I'm Lloyd Robertson at Control Central in Winnipeg, introducing our CBC television coverage of the 1967 Pan American Games. And we are having another one of the intermittent showers that have been on and off all afternoon here in Winnipeg. However, the spunky Duke of Edinburgh is nonetheless traveling in an open car and is now halfway around the track. He is going to be officially opening these games. And those well-formed lines are obviously falling apart all over the place. A well-organized parade up to this point, but now it's been impossible to keep these lines in order during the rain. Nonetheless, some of them are stalwartly carrying on. The delegation from the Netherlands Antilles.
His Royal Highness looking up skyward a little bit, and he gets very little encouragement from there because there's an immense black cloud parked right over the top of Winnipeg's stadium. And funnily enough, Lloyd, I don't know, maybe this augurs well, but the rain stopped as Canada came by.
Right, the rain is stopping, and the weather has contributed to an air of conviviality.
A little bit of sun is beginning to sneak through.
I have the great pleasure and honor to declare the 5th Pan American Games open.
I'm angry at the whole damn system.
This juror's identity is under a publication ban. She spoke to CBC News about her emotional ordeal last fall. The woman served on the murder trial of 8-year-old Victoria Stafford.
The court has heard that Tori was killed by blows to the head, and today they saw the graphic results of the attack.
The little girl was lured away from her school in Woodstock, Ontario, sexually assaulted and killed. Michael Rafferty and Terry Lynn McClintock were convicted of first-degree murder.
I was reliving the trial, but I was reliving it in the place where I was standing there at the crime scene watching it happen over and over and over again.
The judge did order counseling, but the juror said it amounted to little more than relaxation exercises. She kept shutting down, unable to work or care for her children, and was diagnosed with PTSD. The juror launched a court appeal demanding compensation from the Ontario government. Days before the case was to be heard, it was settled out of court, and the Attorney General went further. He announced Ontario would set up a helpline and offer free counseling to all traumatized jurors. It's not clear yet what form that counseling will take. The new policy goes into effect at the end of this month.
I'm so grateful that he took the issue as seriously as he did and took steps.
Mark Ferrand has also been lobbying Ontario for more support and welcomes the new policy. But he's not stopping there. He's set up a Facebook page to give other traumatized jurors a voice, and he's writing every Attorney General in Canada, urging them to do more.
I want the same level of support to be available to a juror in any province, in any territory in the country. There should be no juror looking over the fence and saying, well, why do they have services and we don't?
Being the public face of the cause is a welcome reprieve from his private hell. Ferrand has been able to keep working as a market researcher, but he won't elaborate on his life at home with his wife and 2 small children, other than to say it's shattered.
Come on in.
He's trying to piece it all back together. Ferrand sees Vivian Lee, a behavioral therapist, once a week.
What are you afraid will happen if you let yourself be vulnerable?
I'm emotional. I'm trying not to cry. People are sympathetic. People want to hug you, and that's the other problem. Like, I don't like being touched. Right now, that's a problem, right? We know that. I think we have to stop this. I think I'm done.
It's a slow, painful process, and Ferrand didn't want us to capture more than a few minutes of it. And then there's the cost. Ferrand's work insurance plan only covers a fraction of the sessions. And for all his advocacy work, it's not clear if Ontario's new support program will be retroactive, whether he will benefit from it in any way. How long will it take to feel normal again? Will he? Once again, Ferrand finds himself in the same busy square, once again willing himself to get better, and so afraid he won't.
It's still a nightmare. I'm not well. I have a... I have good days and I have bad days. And, I'm hoping that at a certain point I will be able to, there will be some sort of mechanic in me that is just survival mode. I struggle with all of this still. I'm still not out of this.
Life, as he knew it, is altered forever. And after helping serve justice, it remains defined by the search for his own. Joanna Brumeliotis, CBC News, Toronto.
Coming up, preschool children in the great outdoors. Some parents in Quebec think it's a wild idea.
Reform's Chief of Policy, Steve Harper, previews a major theme of the weekend.
Reformers want a strong country built by those who want in, not by those who want out. guess in terms of the results in Calgary West tonight, there's only one thing I can say, along the lines of what Don Cherry always says, and that's
48,561, which is 55.04%.
This country needs a party dedicated not to worshiping or taking advantage of the system, but to reforming the system in this country to better serve the interests of ordinary, hard-working, common-sense Canadians.
Good evening. Stephen Harper and Peter MacKay were all smiles and handshakes today as they took the wraps off their historic deal to merge the Progressive Conservatives and the Canadian Alliance.
this division of Conservatives is ending. Our swords will henceforth be pointed at the Liberals, not at each other.
In the end, the campaign's frontrunner, the former leader of the Canadian Alliance, won the leadership on the first round of voting, denying Belinda Stronach and Tony Clement a second round to try to overtake him.
The tired, old, and corrupt Liberal Party is right now cornered like an angry rat.
We are saying it is going to be a Conservative minority government. You're looking at the 22nd Prime Minister of Canada.
Friends, I have never been so proud of our great country, and I am honored and overwhelmed to be asked to lead it.
Most hours have 60 minutes. This hour has 7 days. Tonight, Ralph Nader charges the Detroit car companies with running risks that can't hurt them, but do hurt us.
I could give an example of the Buick Roadmaster in 1953. The one with power brakes came onto the market, many thousands of them, with a defective braking system. Now,
you mean in the 53 Buick Roadmaster,
with power
a driver
brakes.
would literally go from normal brakes to no brakes like that?
Right, that's right. This is documented in court records, which is very interesting. It shows you that the only way we find out about these things is through the cumbrous process of the judicial system. So what you want to do is make an overwhelming systematic case to overcome the resistance of industry. The stronger a case you make, the more scientists you have working on the project on an independent, objective basis, the more overpowering the forces of humane automotive technology will be.
Ridges like fingerprints twisted by swirling winds. These rust-colored dunes of Mars are topped by snow. NASA released this image, captured in May, of a spring on the red planet. Unlike earthly snow, the white you see is actually frozen carbon dioxide, known as dry ice. A small Quebec town will be the latest to experiment with a new trend in outdoor education. The idea is not just take the children outside, rather it's to make the outdoors a classroom. But in a province that's used to affordable childcare, this is a pricey concept. Jayla Bernstein explains.
Amanda! About an hour outside Montreal in Hudson, Quebec, these children see the forest as their playground and the trees as their jungle gym.
Around every corner there's, acorns and centipedes and interesting things to look at, and there's, old pine growth forests and bogs. You can just see it clearly on their faces. They have so much fun in the forest that's the winner for everybody.
The Hudson Forest School hosted this open house ahead of its first year, which starts in a couple of weeks. Outdoor education like this is a growing concept in North America. This isn't a permit-holding daycare or preschool. It's more of a playgroup, and it runs 3 days a week. What they do during that time will be up to children like Penelope. Her parents decided to start the program to give her a different education.
We wanted her to be able to be in a group, but in a really positive environment. And there's no better environment than the forest.
Many of those interested are friends, families who've been searching for something like this in Hudson.
And I think that's what it needed, just someone to just say, well, we have forests, we have beautiful natural areas, like, why can't we have one here?
The play group runs through the fall, winter, and spring. During the winter, the kids will take breaks inside to warm up. It costs more than subsidized daycare in Quebec. Costs can go as high as $375 a month, plus a membership fee. But the founders are hoping private donors will help make the program more accessible. Jayla Bernstein, CBC News, Hudson.
And that's the National for this Friday night. For news at any hour, you can always go to our website, cbcnews.ca. I'm Carol McNeil. Good night and have a great weekend.